of Regina. My name is Costa Marigus, and I'm representing the U of R here for this tonight, and I'm pleased to be your MC. Joining me on stage today to talk about College Avenue Campus Renewal is Dr. Vian Timmins, President and Vice Chancellor of the U of R. Of course we're going to applaud. Next to Dr. Timmins is Eric Dillon, CEO of the Conexus Credit Union. And Nelson Wagner, Associate Vice President, Facilities Management here at the U of R. Nelson. And thank you all so much for taking time out of this beautiful Saskatchewan evening to be here today to talk about this initiative here that we have going forward. As you know, College Avenue Campus plays a big role in our lives. Maybe for those of you, I know for me, I took art lessons there when I was a kid. I'm not going to tell you which decade, but it was a long time ago. And my children took art classes there as well. So, you know, it passes on from one generation to another, and we're very excited about what's to come there. Through the Center for Continuing Education, including the Lifelong Learning Center, the Conservatory for Performing Arts, each year, College Avenue campus serves thousands of learners, from newborns to someone as old as 97 years old. It directly contributes, just an interesting number here that I didn't know, it contributes some $18 million to the provincial gross domestic product and supports nearly 500 full-time and part-time jobs. Of course, what you can't measure in money is what it brings to us culturally speaking in this city, in this community, and the Regina area. It's a hub of cultural activity, and Darke Hall, of course, is an important performance venue used by numerous community groups. The renewal of Darke Hall and the College Avenue campus has been the university's #1 capital fundraising priority. Achieving our goal will allow us to preserve the College Avenue building and Darke Hall and bring them up to modern standards for accessibility, for functionality, and of course, performance. We know this is an ambitious undertaking. We've been seeking support for this project from both federal and provincial governments, the City of Regina, and of course the public. And the public has come through with some impressive donations. We've also issued a request for proposals seeking a partner that would support this renewal project. What got us here tonight was our announcement on June the 8th. We announced that Conexus Credit Union submitted a project proposal that's been selected to help advance College Avenue campus. As we committed to when we issued the request for proposals, we're seeking now public input, your input on the proposed development through this meeting here tonight, and we have a second one scheduled on June the 23rd. After the formal presentations tonight, of course, you will have an opportunity to ask questions and provide comments. Now, as a former TV news anchor, I insisted this performance be recorded tonight. So just so you know, this is being recorded for possible public use, but I should let you know that. Of course, you can also provide comments via email, and that is ur.giving@uregina.ca. This email address and the website for more information are on the pamphlet that you have received coming into the door. So, for some opening comments here tonight, please welcome Dr. Vian Timmins.
Thank you, Costa. First, I'd like to just begin by acknowledging that your university is on Treaty 4 and Treaty 6 territories, an important part of our past, but more important, a part of our future. I want to welcome Eric Dillon, our CEO of Conexus Credit Union, and thank him for stepping up. So it's wonderful to see so many of you here tonight, supporters of College Avenue campus, and I'm thrilled that you're going to provide us with some ideas and feedback. As you know, College Avenue campus plays a critical role for the university and for our city. It's our link with our community. Do you know we have over 800 students enrolled in College Avenue campus because it does all our distance education programming out of there. And as Costa mentioned, up to 97, but the youngest student is 6 months old. Isn't that what a university should be? One that extends from early child to our seniors and educates all our community. It has a lifelong learning center, the Conservatory of Performing Arts, Darke Hall, and our dream is to move our Johnson Shoyama School of Public Policy into our College Avenue campus when it's revitalized. It's a hub of leadership and outreach programming. The Center for Continuing Ed is a pursuit of everything from personal enrichment to career development. And our distance ed programs allow flexibilities, and it's important for our community of learners. It's an educational, economic, and cultural hub for the city, and it's one that we may lose. We have a choice to revitalize College Avenue campus or to close it. And we've made a choice at a university to keep it open and to work hard to do that. We can't go in and do minor renovations because we have to do major ones because of building codes and that. And so that is why we have an innovative project that we're bringing to the public. We need the support of our partners, stakeholders, and the public. We have a tradition at the University of Regina as one who serves of working with the community, and we will continue that. Our strategic plan, named Piakaskigawi now, which is Cree for one with Mother Earth, but also means together we are stronger, that is key for us. It embodies the spirit in which we are partnering with Conexus to revitalize College Avenue campus and make it a reality. As a member-based cooperative, Conexus also embodies that spirit. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you and helping us get one step closer to a renewed College Avenue campus, and I will be back at the end of the program to make some closing comments. But thank you. Thank you for your thoughtful feedback that I know you'll be giving us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, and now some opening remarks from Nelson Wagner from our facilities management team.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Costa. Can everyone hear me? I hope that's good. Again, thank you for everyone to come down coming down and listening to this, but also more importantly to give us our feedback, and we're here to listen especially. I just want to cover the outline of my presentation, which is shown on the slide above. I'll speak briefly about the current physical condition of the facilities at the College Avenue campus and the current work underway. I will outline the master planning process and the resulting development principles we are guided by. I will show you some maps or physical layout of the College Avenue campus that have been developed from those principles and showing the potential future development. Finally, I will end in outlining the potential federal funding and proposed partnership with Conexus. As the President says, the College Avenue campus needs saving. It represents less than 5% of our building space on our both campuses, yet accounts for more than 1/4 of our required deferred maintenance needs. It is the worst condition, the ones that are in worst conditions are the conservatory and the gallery buildings. A recent engineering study concluded there was serious structural damage to these buildings, these last two I mentioned, beyond what could be reasonably considered restorable. While the college building Darke Hall are in slightly better condition, we risk losing them too if we continue to wait on rehabilitation. This underlines the urgency of moving forward. As the quote on the slide from Donald Luxton, who's our heritage consultant, points out, these are unique and historic buildings worth saving. With this urgency in mind, we have already begun work on Darke Hall. We have earmarked, and in fact the board has approved, $3 million from community donations to be used to renovate the exterior and components of Darke Hall. Construction phase is from May till November of this year. This phase will repair the exterior components of Darke Hall, as you can see listed on the slide. We also have received a $1 million anonymous donation to improve accessibility on the inside of Darke Hall, which will be in a subsequent phase of the project. As you may know, all development on our campus, both campuses, they're guided by our campus master plan. The master plan aligns the physical development of our campus with our strategic priorities. They are student success, research that has impact, and commitment to our communities. At the same time, it addresses our two overarching areas of emphasis in our strategic plan, indigenization and sustainability. Last fall, we conducted 3 public consultation sessions jointly with Wascana Center Authority aimed at creating a new master plan. The final document identifies our campus as a prairie place and recognizes the value of both the natural and cultural prairie landscape in future development. Strategies for responsible and sustainable development include using naturalized grasses where possible, reducing our reliance on irrigation, and collaborating with First Nations to incorporate culturally relevant symbols in our campus landscape. We are guided by these ideas, and the development of College Avenue campus is no different. I didn't get that one, didn't go. There we go. The newest master plan extends the idea of a campus in the park from our previous 2011 plan. This concept promoted the idea of creating a full range of outdoor spaces and places where people will linger, learn, and be active. The full list of principles to guide future development specifically at College Avenue campus are cited in detail on page 88 of our campus master plan. I have put a few of these key ones on the slide, as you can see above. These principles are not just put on paper and forgotten. Once established, they were used during the master planning process to map out where developments around the College Avenue campus should go. The result is that our community stakeholders chose the layout for any future development of the College Avenue campus. That one work? Okay. As you can see, the final layout included in both our master plan and the Wascana Center master plan, preserves the unique College Avenue frontage and embraces the lake and park landscapes. So you can see here, the existing buildings are in gray and the potential new ones are in white. Hope you heard that. I'm trying to turn and look at the same time. But part of the reason we're here tonight is we have a proposed development on this small piece of land here, the Conexus Proposal. And of course, this is the location in this area. That area is where the Conexus Proposal we hope will be. The Conexus Proposal is consistent with Wascana Center Authority's master plan and our own, of course, in terms of the physical space to be developed. However, the office space proposed does not conform entirely with the approved land uses for new developments under Wascana Center Authority mandate. We are seeking board approval from Wascana Center for an exception to this rule. We think that given how much this project would contribute to the Wascana Center's Authority mandate to enlarge educational facilities, research and recreational opportunities, and to advance the cultural arts, that it warrants such an exception. One other noteworthy part of the proposed development is that it straddles university property and city property. I didn't go, oops, wrong one again. Okay, there we go. The funding the city land donation would unlock is critical, as you can see by this illustration. Hang on, did I skip a? Oh, there it is, okay. This is an illustration from an approximate layout of the College Avenue campus after the proposed developments are being considered today. I think I went one ahead. There's one missing. Okay, they were in a different order. So this layout here is showing the overall layout of the site. So this is our existing buildings here, and this is where the proposed Conexus headquarters would be, the business incubator as well. As noted earlier, engineering reports indicate the gallery and conservatory buildings are unrestorable. And of course, you'll see on this one, of course I hit the wrong button again. There we go. These are the areas here that we're looking to demolish. We think they are, again, not restorable. It's unfortunate but unavoidable, but as a way of protecting the history we can, the front facade of the conservatory building will be protected and preserved, which is right here. We are also developing a strategy to ensure the history of these facilities lives on, and would very much accept any feedback you have on how we can do that. As you can see, we have a plan for improving accessibility and usability of the College Avenue campus. More importantly, we need to act on major investments required to ensure these buildings do not suffer the same fate as the gallery and conservatory. We didn't really go over that slide. I don't know why it's missing, but just to give you a bit of a feedback on that. The city land is actually outlined in black. So you can see that the land we're requesting from the city, and the city's looking at donating to the university, is in fact a small portion of the land that they own in that area. As part of our efforts to obtain the funding necessary, we are nearing the end of a federal funding process we are optimistic about. The full scope of the College Avenue Renewal project is between $60 and $70 million. An application for $30 million of that was submitted to the federal government Post-Secondary Strategic Investment Fund, or SIF, on May 9th of this year. The university needs to match this money, making the Conexus contribution extremely important. So the money they give us, in fact, will enable us to get federal funding. The federal timelines require funding for all of the ones that's provided, all the funding is provided to be spent by April 2018, so an extremely tight timeline. Tight timelines require work in advance to fund and commercial, to advance of the funding to confirm, for example, that we need to search for a swing space, which we're doing now, applying for demolition permits, which we're doing now, and also we've just put out an RFP, or a request for proposal, for foundation repair and underpinning, and that we released that just recently. Eric will be up next to outline the Conexus proposal, but I'd like to transition to him by, in fact, underlining why this is so important to the university. It will improve the accessibility and usability of Darke Hall. We can't understate that. It is among the largest gifts to a post-secondary institution in Saskatchewan's history, and much needed when fiscal times are so tight. And it gives us a partner committed to Wascana Centre, which we're all delighted about. Thank you for attending, and thank you in advance for your honest feedback. We look forward to your questions and concerns. Forward to you, Eric.
Thanks a lot, Nelson, for that outline. And now from Conexus, Eric Dillon is here.
Good evening. Thank you all for being here. I'm from Conexus, and I stand proudly before you on behalf of our 120,000 member owners from across the province. Conexus is an 80-year Saskatchewan company, and we are very excited about the opportunity to turn the College Avenue campus back into an economic, educational, and cultural hub. We, again, have a very deep history of serving our members and the province, and we would like to solidify our commitment to both Regina and Saskatchewan and make sure that we're here for the next 100 years as well, serving our member owners. As I said, we're the province's largest credit union, the 6th largest in the country, and today we have about 900 employees, 500 of which work for us in and around Regina. We have branches that stretch from La Ronge in the north to Cornac in the south, and again, very proud of our almost century history of serving the community and the province. But statistics are only part of the story of Conexus. We are a credit union with a rich history of innovation and forward thinking. In fact, the very first ATM offered sits right across the street from the site we're talking about, and in the Cooperators building on College Avenue campus. Was the first ever operated in Canada. Also, Conexus was the very first to offer chip-enabled technology for our member owners. Another first. But our innovations aren't limited to just technology and banking. We have great partnerships in the community, notably with the Regina Food Bank, where we most recently offered a financial literacy and nutritional cooking program, with Reed Saskatoon offering financial literacy programs, and very proud of another innovative partnership in the last few years with the Government of Saskatchewan to offer Canada's very first social impact bond, where we funded a project in Saskatoon that helped reunite foster children with their mothers in a new way to do social finance in Saskatchewan. Never been done before in our country, and very proud that it was our credit union that brought that history of social innovation and that new legacy of social innovation back to the province. And that's important, but again, I'm also proud of our employees. So of those that reside in and around Saskatchewan, and notably here in Regina, Our employees contribute over 35,000 hours of community service to our community. And if you put that in terms of full-time equivalent employees, that's like 20 full-time employees doing nothing else every day other than serve community organizations and make a difference where we all live, work, and play. For us, it's about providing a real, tangible difference, not just to the university, but to Regina and to the province. So the opportunity to partner, again, aligns with both our organization's beliefs. President Vian talked earlier about together we are stronger. I would suggest to you that that could be the tagline for a credit union. People from the community coming together to make a difference, to share the economic benefits of what it means to be a cooperative. The partnership with us would see our head office move to the College Avenue campus. But it's an investment in Saskatchewan, and for us, last year alone, our organization contributed almost $1.5 million back to communities. If you add that back to reduced service charges and other benefits that our members enjoy, almost 25% of our net income goes back to communities every year. And if you add that up over our 80-year history, you're looking at likely north of $100 million of economic benefit being created for our members and in communities by doing business with our credit union. Much of that contribution has found its way into arts and culture. Programs such as the Conexus Summer Youth Film Camp, where young aspiring filmmakers have the opportunity to participate, where they learn the ins and outs of film production. We also support other arts and culture programs such as youth music scholarships, festivals, museums, theater groups, and art galleries. And of course, most of you in this room will be very familiar with our commitment to the Conexus Arts Centre, which has existed for almost a decade, another project inside the Wascana Authority. We would love at some point to add our contributions to the College Avenue campus and Darke Hall to this very proud list of projects that we've supported. Now that you know a little bit about Conexus, I would like to talk a little bit about the project. If you look on the map, Site A west of Darke Hall is the area that our proposal covers. We're proposing an 80,000 square foot facility. 55,000 of that would be occupied by the immediate needs of Conexus in terms of office space, but with about 200 of our staff relocating under one roof. Our development will not include any retail space for our credit union. This space is purely designated as office space for our corporate services employees. In fact, we believe that there's little material difference in terms of use between a professor working at an office in College Avenue campus with a Conexus professional working from a very similar office in an adjoined building. 10,000 square feet would accommodate the growth needs of our organization as a very rapidly growing member cooperative. And another Conexus first would be 15,000 square feet designated to a business incubator. And you might say, well, what is a business incubator? It's another first for Conexus and potentially for Regina. It would focus on supporting entrepreneurship and small business owners. Saskatchewan has seen a resurgence of those interested in starting and growing their own small business, and Conexus has a history, again, for almost 100 years of supporting small businesses and entrepreneurs. In fact, if I told you half the businesses in this province are financed by a cooperative like ours, you might be surprised, but it's true. We've been an important source of advice and capital to growing small, medium-sized businesses, and we want to partner with the community to build more of those businesses. Our concept sees a partnership with the University of Regina Paul J. Hill School of Business, the Centre for Continuing Education, Regina Economic Development, the Government of Saskatchewan, and most importantly for us, local entrepreneurs. Ultimately, for us at Conexus, we want our members to be financially well, and what better partner than the University of Regina to help us make that happen. One of the reasons we selected Site A as the subject of our proposal was the real tangible benefits we could bring to restoring Darke Hall. Our proposal seeks to build an atrium center that would solve some of the access issues and the accessibility concerns with Darke Hall. And we really see Darke Hall as a gem that's underused for the community that could return to its former role as a premier venue for events in our community. This atrium connection would meet all the current standards for heritage building design, washrooms, elevators, ramps, and the like. We also think that there's an important opportunity to partner with the university on program development. Leadership development is an important part of how Conexus runs its business. Building better leaders is part of our additional gifts to communities. And we see opportunities to further leadership development programs, partnering with the University of Regina Leadership and Outreach Center. Through our partnership and design process, we will explore options for shared services and amenities that would enhance the College Avenue experience users of the park and be benefits to all. We're all about partnerships and collaboration at Conexus and making a difference in our community. By partnering with President Timmins and the university and their board, we can make that difference while helping meet the vision for College Avenue campus and create a welcoming, adaptable, and highly functional campus. We want to celebrate the historic past of the College Avenue campus and its connection to community so that the university and the campus is poised for another 100 years of service to that wide range of students that President Timmins talked about. Our proposal offers the gift of financial flexibility by providing up to $8.25 million in direct cash funding for this renewal project. This is beyond the business requirements and the cost to invest in our head office and beyond the cost of the incubator, which will be provided by Conexus to the community at no cost. We see it as a chance to deepen our Saskatchewan roots, act on our cooperative value of concern for community, cooperation, education, and training. It is a very natural fit. Like the university, Conexus is committed to diversity and sustainability, believes in community, supports the arts, and is committed to lifelong learning. We commit to developing a space that is consistent with the design guidelines of the Wascana Authority, heritage design concepts, much like most of the other buildings also located within the park. We fully respect, as a member-owned cooperative, we have 50,000 of our member owners that live in this community, and we fully understand and respect the importance of the special place that is called the Wascana Park. As a member-owned cooperative, we are proposing a design process that will include consultation with experts in heritage design to make sure our development is consistent with the very best practices of designing those facilities. We are very committed, very excited, and so proud to stand here on behalf of our member owners and talk about how we can bring College Avenue campus back to life. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And we do encourage questions from you. We're going to get to your questions and comments in just a moment. But Dr. Timmins would like to just add a few more comments before we get to your questions.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Nelson, for your presentations. And I'm looking forward to your feedback. But before we move to questions, I want to leave you with a few final thoughts to think about. Conexus, as you can see, is a dream partner for the University of Regina. It shares the same principles we have for this development: seamless integration with the park, respect for its natural beauty, preservation of heritage buildings, and ensuring the park experience is enhanced. The university would maintain ownership of the land and would be under a long-term lease to Conexus. And this would add one of Saskatchewan's most deeply rooted companies to our list of strong partners as a university. Your university, your park, and your city will benefit from a renewed College Avenue campus and this new partnership. As mentioned, up to $8.25 million in direct financial support for College Avenue campus, and that is critical for us to access the $30 million federal funding. It's important. It's significant one-time and ongoing revenues for all partners in Wascana Centre, including revenues from parking, property taxes, fees to Wascana Centre, building permits, and so on, and potentially millions of dollars in cost avoidance through shared maintenance and utilities there. As Eric mentioned and Nelson mentioned, this will significantly reduce the costs of rejuvenating Darke Hall through the development of the shared atrium, and it keeps Conexus headquartered in the heart of our city, which is important. But these are just a few benefits of the partnership. Such alternate funding sources are necessary now more than ever when we look at the current fiscal situation in Saskatchewan. It's important that we are creative in how we look to fund our public entities. To wait for more public funds is no longer an option for us. The deteriorating condition of the gallery building and conservatory underline how critical it is for us to move forward and the access to the federal money that is only now that we have it. It's a small window for us. With this partnership, we are on the verge of getting this project underway despite a lot of fiscal challenges. And we will ensure that College Avenue campus can survive and thrive for generations to come. I always think about the people in Regina who paid for College Avenue campus out of their pockets. There was no provincial funding when they built it, and they entrusted it to the University of Regina. And that is so important, and it weighs on me a lot to think about that. So they entrusted to us, and it's up to us to honor them by keeping it revitalized and healthy as an educational, economic, and cultural hub. And we will lose it if we don't take action soon. But it's more than a building. We mentioned enrollment exceeds 8,000 students when we look at our distance ed students, and there are thousands of stories of people who have bettered their lives through the College Avenue programs. Examples are the Aboriginal Grandmothers Caring for Grandchildren Network, Older Adult Abuse Awareness Program, music programs that serve thousands of our kids, career development programs tailored to the needs of adult part-time learners, and the list goes on and on. Behind each of these programs are stories, real stories, like Razel's story. She's a member of the Lifelong Learning Center, and here's how the Lifelong Learning Center touched her life at a particularly difficult time. She said, "The center provided a friendly respite place for me from my daily responsibilities in the care of my aging mother and the continual support to my husband through his terminal illness." It was a place for her to go and meet others and share. Or the story of Caleb and his music instructor, Barb Fitzpatrick, at the conservatory. Caleb says, "When I was in the hospital with cancer at age 9 for almost 9 months, she visited and taught me. I played behind my glass door at little concerts for the sick kids who walked by in the hallway. Playing the cello helped preserve my eye-hand coordination. My memory was affected by the chemo, but it came back quicker because of the cello." These stories are powerful reminders of why we're here today, to save College Avenue campus, to enable it to continue to change thousands of lives. I remember my daughter Taylor with her tuba that she played when she was at Campbell Collegiate, walking up to the 3rd floor because there was no elevator, with that huge tuba on her shoulders to get her music lessons. And when I'm there, I can visualize her doing that. We need support from you. We need to stand shoulder to shoulder with you to revitalize this gift that our ancestors in Regina gave us. So I'm eager to hear your questions and comments tonight. Your feedback will help strengthen our plan and get us one step closer to a renewed College Avenue campus. And we will have a state-of-the-art educational center that honors 100-year-old history, that will be a showcase for this city and for this province, with the support of our partner, Conexus. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, of course, we welcome your comments, your questions. We do have a couple of microphones set up here because we do want to hear your feedback. So who dares to go first? Anybody? Go ahead, sir, and then you'll go next. Go ahead. Your comments or questions.
Thank you. I guess this comes from, a large involvement with the master planning process within Wascana Centre. Throughout that whole process, there is a partnership between the city, university, and the government of Saskatchewan in the sense of the lands that are collected to make up Wascana Centre Authority. I guess my first question is, why is it a requirement of the city to donate land to the university to allow this to go forward? Because currently there are city lands in the rest of the Wascana Centre Authority that are managed by Wascana Centre.
Diane, would you care to? Sure, go ahead.
Answer that. So a number of years ago, when we started to fundraise for College Avenue campus, I went to provincial government, but I also went to the city with their university and asked them for a donation to College Avenue campus. And at the time, Glenn Davies was the city manager, said that they did not have any money to donate, but would we consider a land donation that we could then maybe use and have a partner with who would develop it and be able to contribute to College Avenue campus. And I think our city should give a contribution to College Avenue campus. We are the University of Regina. We are the city's university. So I want to see the city give a contribution. The province wants to see the city give a contribution, so does the federal government. So that just enhances our partnership. So it's just over 2 acres. It's a very small parcel, and it's ideally situated to enhance the development in Darke Hall. So it was a perfect piece of land that will save us millions of dollars because of where Conexus can build.
You want to follow up? Go
I
ahead.
guess As a follow-up, maybe,
Sure.
is that piece of land therefore a way to leverage federal funds, or is that the reason why the city is donating the land then, or?
We don't have the land yet. We're going to go in front of the city council, but we have asked them for it, and we're going through a process of meeting their requirements. But it is for multiple reasons. It was initially to access provincial funds. And part of the matching money for the federal grant of $30 million will be deferred maintenance funds that we get from the province. So the province is contributing. We're hoping the federal government will contribute, and we want to see our city contribute, yes.
Okay, I guess I'll go to a second question at this point. You talked a lot about accessibility of Darke Hall, and being a person that uses that as much as a number of organizations use that Darke Hall. What I see of the map of where the Conexus portion of the project has got nothing to do with accessing Darke Hall from the front, and so I'm just wondering where the accessibility feature of Darke Hall is going to be placed so that those that want to access the front of the theater will be able to use it.
Okay, Eric.
So the site that was originally in the university's request for proposal did include that site going around the back of Darke Hall. So we responded to what was asked for in the RFP. Our view, though, is that Darke Hall needs 2 things. It needs accessibility, but it also needs what's called flex space or crush space, so that patrons of the theater have a place to go, whether it's an intermission or before the event, after the event, and a place to gather. And for those that have been in Darke Hall, the reception or foyer area is very small and certainly not suitable for the number of patrons that the venue holds. And so we responded to the proposal on the site that was indicated, and we feel like by doing it on the site that the university asked us to consider, we can make accessibility, we can solve the accessibility challenges through the back of the building and provide that atrium joint use space.
Okay. We need that flexibility for accessibility. Okay, another question here. Hi.
First, I want to start off by saying I think it's wonderful what you guys are doing, and especially the partnership. My only concern is where Conexus is going to be located, and I know there was like an option A, B, or C, and I'm kind of concerned with option A because it's taking up quite a bit of green space. I'm a huge fan of Wascana Park, and I would assume that that'd be like prime real estate for any company. So I just was wondering like which option is going to be chosen, or have you guys talked about that at all?
So I can answer that. We had the 3 options, A, B, C. Why A is the ideal site is because it maximizes the contribution to support the revitalization, in particular of Darke Hall. So the money we're getting from the federal government will be for College Avenue campus, and we still need funds to revitalize Darke Hall. Plus, the way that site will be better for us to maximize efficiencies in mechanical and electrical, so it has huge benefits and cost savings to be positioned there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so is it possible to like look at the 3 options on the screen just so I can
Sure,
figure out? Yeah.
I know Nelson knows how to operate this really
Okay.
well. So you can try it.
He's just being funny. I didn't really do that well.
Oh,
There it is.
Okay.
so site B, is that, so site A, I guess, would be like taking over the green space that's already there. So site B, is that a parking lot right now, or what is that?
Site B is the space between Darke Hall and College Avenue, plus it's the gallery building
Okay.
that we,
No,
Site
that's
B,
about
no,
it.
Site C is that.
Site C is
Okay.
that.
Site B is, we don't have anything there now, that's a parking lot,
Okay.
and some green space.
Because I'm just thinking, if we had the option between Site A and Site B, wouldn't we want to pick Site B? Because Site A, you're moving on to a whole bunch of beautiful green space, and Site B, you'd just be filling in a parking lot. And
Yeah,
after all, it is, you know, it is Wascana Park, and I don't know, I think it's the nicest space we have.
Yeah, and Nadia,
And-
we looked at that so carefully. The Site B won't maximize the savings that we need to. If we went to Site B, it would add millions of dollars that we would not be able to utilize, and we wouldn't get the synergy with Darke Hall. So we did look very carefully at all of those sites. So, you know, we wouldn't have the money to revitalize Darke Hall if we did that.
And I don't understand that, like, why though? Because Conexus won't go in Site B, they'll only go in Site A?
No, not because of Conexus, it's because Conexus is agreed to build the atrium to do the accessibility for Darke Hall, and then we can have joint, and the mechanical and electrical will save us a ton of money. So they're contributing all that plus $8.25 million. So it's the millions of dollars of savings that they will have by giving us really the atrium and the accessibility piece for Darke Hall.
Okay, okay.
Thank you very much.
Good questions.
Yes, indeed. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I just have questions too.
Sure.
So the first question is, the overall project will increase the size of the area in the end, or is it going to be the same number of offices and studios and so forth as before?
No, it would increase the footprint, and Conexus's offices will be added to College
No, beyond
Avenue.
Conexus, beyond
So
Conexus,
College
yeah.
Avenue campus? No, it would be about the same amount of space
Okay,
after we demolish and we have to build some new
Right.
space, but it will be much better utilized because we will be able to renovate it so we get use of it. For example, the basement isn't usable right now, so there's a lot of space there that we want to and can renovate and use.
so there would be some percentage increase in practically usable space.
Absolutely.
And what percentage would that be roughly?
Do we know the percentage of space that increase? We don't have that exactly.
Okay.
I mean, we're in the detailed designs now.
Right.
So we haven't gotten into that. But we
Okay.
know just because of the square footage.
Okay. So then, following on to that, there will be some increase there. There will be 200 people increase in the Conexus area. And presumably, there's going to have to be much more parking to accommodate all this.
It's a great question. You know, parking now is not fully utilized, so Conexus is planning to do underground parking. So we will add no additional parking spaces. We feel with the spaces we have,
Okay.
now they will be utilized, so we will get some revenue from them, which will
Right.
help.
Maybe just to clarify that is, you know, on the, perhaps, Costa, if you can
Yes.
just go back to the previous map that shows the parking. So, right there. Forward, backward, no. Nelson,
That, leave that.
no, just back one more. So if you can just show the pointer on the parking there, Nelson. So the parking that's just, I guess would be south of Old Campus Road, we're talking to the university today about how much of that Conexus could long-term lease. And from our perspective, our users, being general office users, would use those spots, you know, counter-cyclically to perhaps other users of the park, which is more evenings and weekends. So we're in a conversation with the university about how many of those sites might be available for Conexus staff to not have to build anymore, obviously, and replace grass with concrete. And anything we need beyond that, we would construct underground. But it's our hope that that would be minimal.
Okay. And that area that is shown on this view is a square-ish area, and the plan doesn't seem to use that. So exactly how, there's obviously going to be some road, exactly what are you thinking through, and why this particular shape?
It's just clean to have the 2 acres in a square. We're not, the building won't take all of that room.
Yes, yes.
Right? So
That was clear.
it's just that's what the city's
But
proposed
the
to
road
give.
does have to be moved.
Pardon me?
The road does have to be moved and.
A little
according-
bit, yeah. There'll
Yeah.
be, we don't have the exact details, but it would be moved slightly if we need to move it,
And would access still remain from Lorne?
yes.
Thank you.
Good, thank you very much. Any more
Great,
questions?
great
or comments?
questions.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
I think it's great that you want to preserve the heritage of the College Avenue campus, but from your plan with the atrium, you know you're going to wipe out the 50s history that brought Regina onto the national map, and I'm talking about the Regina 5 and the art school there. So the two buildings that are there, the Portnell building, the white building, which was a gallery made as a white cube before we even talked about galleries as white cube, was really a revolutionary building and built for very little money in 1953. So can you name what other buildings Portnell built?
You can tell us.
The courthouse, the federal building, Davin School, the City Health Center, which was when he had more money, he could do something that was more defined. But the gallery building, this white cube with the windows that go down, is a very elegant 50s modernist building, as is the addition that was added onto it by Izumi. Can you name what buildings Izumi built?
No.
The Regina Public Library, the Weyburn Library. So these are significant architects of Saskatchewan that we're going to wipe out. So we're going to wipe out the 50s history while we're preserving the college Gothic history. And the 50s history was important to Regina, and modernism was important to Regina. It's simply that we don't celebrate it the way Palm Springs celebrates it now. Our houses are as good, but we don't take pride in that, so we're just knocking them down. So while you're preserving certain history, you're really setting out to efface art history. And I think that's really quite sad, as well as the little passages that are in there. I mean, they're very usable pedestrian spaces, the space between Darke Hall and the college and the gallery building, and the space behind there, which is almost forgotten, between where the dorms were in the college building and the two newer buildings, was this intimate little private garden space where, when we had openings there, we could spill out onto. The other thing that worries me a bit is by cutting the road, because the building is going to stick out, you're actually messing with the Mawson plan, which was one of the first plans for Regina. So I'm like you, I'm wondering why, if you're going to build a building, and the Darke Hall face is one of the most beautiful buildings. The face in the sun in the evening, where the bricks glow, and you're fixing it, so it's beautiful. But to put something in front of that will take some of that away. Whereas the empty space, which is where the gym used to be, and the gym became the sculpture studio after a while, is an empty space more or less waiting to be built. So I'm not sure why we need the atrium, or if we have an atrium, why you can't respect the space of the gallery building and the building behind, which had the purpose-built art studio with northern light that we should be still using as an art studio if we had any respect for our artists.
So,
Thank you.
everything you've said is so important, and I want to say that it is not our choice to knock down the gallery building. And if 25 years ago, care was taken in College Avenue campus, and we put the money that we should have into it then, we wouldn't be doing it now. I know, it was our responsibility. And so I will tell you that the engineering reports we've gotten, and we can make them available for you, say it is unrestorable. The engineers have said you cannot restore it. And so we don't feel we have a choice. We need to demolish them. They are not structurally sound or safe. And my worry is if we don't move forward with this project, that the same conversation we'll be having with College Avenue campus. Because if we don't do something now, 10 years from now, I'll be, not me, someone else will be here saying to you, we're going to demolish College Avenue campus because we've let it deteriorate. So in an ideal world, that entire campus structure should have been preserved, and the university, we didn't do it. But we want to do what we can now, and that's what we're working on. So everything you've said is so important and so right.
It's given no respect.
Oh, it's given a lot of respect. We tried, we looked carefully at trying to maintain those buildings, and like I said, I could...
It was presented to us years ago, and the buildings were wiped out.
Yeah, because there was no funding. Even publicly funding for College Avenue campus revitalization has been very challenging. It's been a 4-year project. We had a $10 million goal. We got $7 million from our community for that goal. This has not been easy for us, and presidents before me have tried to raise money and to get resources to revitalize College Avenue campus and have not been successful. This is our time now. This is it. But everything you've said is correct. We did not maintain it.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I just have to agree. I'm just a little still concerned with the design of Conexus Center as well. And I know, Vianne, how hard it would be to raise money and develop partnerships for something like this. Actually, I can't even imagine. But first of all, the percentage that Conexus is giving for the overall project, and I'd kind of like to talk about that a bit. But also, if there is any other options where, like you said, that we could possibly see the whole of, Darke Hall, like maybe there's other areas where you wouldn't have to cut into the road and you wouldn't have to use as much green space. Have you guys researched other areas where you could build the building, or like a possible different design where it wouldn't affect so much of the landscape and you'd see more of Darke Hall, the building?
Yeah, one of the challenges, we've looked at everything. I mean, this has been a 4-year project, so we have all kinds of studies and information that's available. We have looked at many, many, many options. And one of the big things is to honor the Wascana Authority requirements, so we can't build up high, right? You have to build 4 stories only. So
right. That
requires a bigger footprint. But we don't have the final, we only have a conceptual plan for Conexus. And when they get into the detail planning, they're going to consult with heritage architects and work that through. So this is just a conceptual thing. We don't know if we'll have to move the road or how close it will get to the road.
Right.
This is where we are.
Is there other options where you could possibly build the building behind, like Darke Hall, and behind the other buildings? Like, it just seems really crazy to build all on that new space, and not to mention, like, yeah, that's like prime real estate. Like, that's like, I mean, $8 million. Yeah, like that's the most valuable real estate in the city. I would say, right? So $8.2 million for the whole entire project. The whole entire project is estimated at how many million? 70?
Approximately.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, no one else came forward to offer me $8.25 million.
Okay.
I went out there, I asked, we put the RFP out. I have been fundraising for 5 years, and no one else came forward.
Okay.
So to me, it's a lot of money, and it's one of the biggest donations that Conexus have made to any organization. So I'm really honored that they're willing to do that. Plus, there's ongoing revenue that we will receive because we will have to maintain Darke Hall so that we're not in this position again. And we need to make sure that there's revenues that we get to do that through parking leases, et cetera.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Eric.
I guess the last thing I'm not going to say, because I've already kind of said my point, is it would just be nice to see other options of where the Conexus Center could be built. That's all I would want, just other options.
Okay,
Thanks for your feedback.
thank
The
you.
only thing I would add is specifically in the university's request for proposal, one of the principles to be addressed by any respondent, including us, was how the project would assist in the redevelopment of Darke Hall. And so from our perspective, we felt like that site allowed us to make a more meaningful contribution beyond just cash in terms of shared services to bring Darke Hall back to life. And I would tell you, we did consider the other sites as well, but in terms of responding to what the university asked for and needs to bring the College Avenue campus back to life, we felt we could best meet their needs and ours, clearly, by developing on that site.
Go ahead.
I don't really have a question, but just more of a comment. I think this is a great partnership. I think Conexus is a wonderful partner. I'm a big believer of the cooperative movement and cooperative principles, and I'd just like to give my support for the project. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hello. The other map that you showed the 3 development sites. Are there plans for developing both B and C at future dates, or is this the one development you're going to do and B and C kind of revert back to whatever it is there?
I'm hoping with revitalization of College Avenue campus, the demand for programs there, we're not going to be able to meet with the space we have, so we will have to enhance College Avenue itself. And so those sites will be there for that kind of development if we need to. So at this point, we don't have any immediate plans, but they're in the master plan for the whole Wascana Park and the university. So they are there and available for development in the future, but we don't have any immediate plans right now.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much. We welcome more questions, comments. Anybody? Hi.
I have a sort of a philosophical question, and that is my understanding of when the Wascana Center was created, the purposes of the center were to be educational, cultural, government. And I'm wondering how, and I don't mean to knock Conexus, but I'm wondering how an office building basically fits into that, and if it doesn't open the door for other kinds of development. I remember attending a charrette design study evening presented by the Regina Association of Architects about 17 or 18 years ago. And remember there was one real estate developer here who was quite ready to knock down the college buildings and put prime residential in there. So I'm wondering about how this fits into the original mandate for the Wascana Center.
We'll need to get an exception on that mandate, but there is a precedent. We have the CBC building, we have the CNIB building, we have the research park right here on the main campus, which are primarily office research buildings. So there will have to be an exception to it. But there are lots of buildings in Wascana Center that are office buildings.
My other, I guess is more of a comment. I'm a member of the Saskatchewan Architectural Heritage Society, and I worked many years ago on a project that never quite came to fruition. It was a documentary on the history of the College Avenue buildings for Cable Regina back then. And I love the collegiate Gothic look, and I just plead with you not to tack on steel and glass box onto the existing structures along the College Avenue streetscape. It would be an eyesore to me. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll be working with Heritage Architects, both for the College Avenue campus Darke Hall renewal and for Conexus.
Good. Yes.
I don't know if this matters, and I'm going to have to test my memory, but I believe one of the cooperative principles is education, going back to the Rochdale principles. So I actually think it fits the mandate.
All right.
Part of it.
Okay, thank you for adding that comment. Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
I'd like to make one comment on the design aspects because I think they are central. This is almost a sacred site in Regina. And some of the early iterations of this idea had where we're talking about the atrium introduced to it, didn't fit what was there. Like, it took away from the buildings that were there. So I do commend the work of the architects you have involved now in terms of the atrium does not stand out. And I would hope that the work in terms of the questions that were asked about the design of the Conexus space is it should follow those same principles. Like, it should be subtle and, you know, compatible with and subordinate to from a architectural standpoint. And so the Conexus building should not be the thing that stands out in the same way that you now have the atrium not standing out. So when you're going by there, you're seeing the original building. And with respect to the old Mackenzie Gallery space, is that I'm not sure they addressed some of those issues as well as they might have earlier on. So I do think that it is a very, very important site. And I do think that architecturally and design-wise that you are taking an approach. I think you have architects involved now that get the issues, and I think you're headed in a better track than you were at one time on that issue.
Thank you.
Thank you
The
very
only thing I
much.
would offer just from the potential design as it's drafted, and again, it's very preliminary, but the intent is obviously to have the atrium in behind for those very reasons, and then have the building come out to the side so as not to take away from the sight lines of Darke Hall. That's why it's built on an angle like that, to protect the view of the front of Darke Hall and in fact both sides of the building. That was the intent. Much more work to do in terms of design for sure, but that's certainly what we're trying to accomplish.
Very good. And another question or comment? Hi.
Hello. You're proposing to demolish the gallery building and, as I understood, also the conservatory building. Nothing's been said about where programs that are presently being conducted in those buildings will be held in the future, or will they simply be discontinued?
No, they will be continued, and they'll be in the College Avenue campus space. We don't know exactly where. We'll have to move all the programs out of College Avenue while we do the renovations, but there are no plans to close any programs.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hi.
Hi, I'm Shirley. I really appreciate the intent of this project, and I celebrate that it's a credit union that's involved. History in my family supports that strongly way back when my dad tried to start a business and couldn't get a loan from a bank. I live in this neighborhood, and I care about the green spaces. I care about the history and the culture. I respect the thought that has gone into the opportunities here. And I celebrate what we're working towards. A question that is still in my mind is the atrium or the proposal for Site C in comparison to Site A, and how all of that fits in with the last question about lifelong learning continuing in past the construction where that lives. That's one question. I'll just start there.
Well, lifelong learning will still be in the College Avenue building, and we will be having to add we'll have to add to the building where the gallery is. So we will have to build on. And I'm not sure if lifelong learning will be offered there, but it'll be offered somewhere. The space will be somewhere within the building. We haven't matched the program to the new constructions yet, where each space will be. But it will continue.
So parts 2 will be demolished.
2 will be demolished, 4 will be built, right there.
4 will be built.
That'll be new space built.
Okay, that helps. So the Conexus project of business offices, and I hope that I'm pleased to hear there won't be retail, but I hope there will be an ATM. Because when I walk by and there's something on in the theater I want to go to, I want to be able to go. That that project brings Conexus headquarters into the park, brings those office people into the park, and uses it during the day, makes it available to us in the evening and weekends. The lifelong learning classes have been occurring in too. I understand they have to be moved during construction and demolition, etc. But I guess I'm not clear on the federal funding. That does not go towards the Conexus project. It goes towards something with the college building, and I'm not sure what.
So Shirley, I can explain. So the federal government put out a call for infrastructure projects with very strict criteria. Darke Hall doesn't fit that criteria. We can't get any money from the federal government at this time for Darke Hall, but there's another program that is in September that we will be applying for some money. So the $30 million has to be matched. This is just College Avenue, so we have to match it dollar for dollar. So we have to find $30 million to match College Avenue to get the $60 million to renovate it. So the $8.25 million is part of that match to College Avenue. The additional resources that Conexus will give in terms of the atrium and building elevator accessibility ramps will be a direct contribution for Darke Hall.
So the contribution of land by the city, the building and the contribution of funds and services and maintenance by Conexus, the renewing of Darke Hall contributes to access to the federal funding that will go into building Section 4 or some other part of...
Well, not just Section 4. We have to completely renovate all of 5, 3. That has to be all completely renovated. None of it's at code.
Okay.
We have to really renovate the entire College Avenue campus. So the only thing for College Avenue campus that Conexus is providing is the $8.25 million.
Okay.
To help match the $30 million. We have to contribute the rest of that, $22 million. So we have some fundraised, and we have some provincial money for maintenance that they give us each year, and we will have to probably take out a mortgage.
Okay, so we have...
That will be just College Avenue. Then Darke Hall will be applying for another fund from the federal government, but Conexus's contribution to that is actually in the building itself.
So there's 3 applications for funding that you're making federally?
2. One for College Avenue for $30 million, and one in the fall, probably for about $9 million, for Darke Hall.
Darke Hall, okay. You've raised $7 million from the community.
Yes.
You anticipate 8.5, 8.25.
So that's 15.5, yeah.
And the donation of the land, I presume?
No, that will be part of the
that?
contribution to the Darke Hall fund.
And that does not count towards the
Federal
$30 million required?
No. So we'll have to take out a mortgage to get the $30 million match.
Thank you. My math was coming up
Yeah,
short.
no, we have to find the money. We don't have enough to match the 30, totally.
Okay.
But we would be in really bad, we would have only $7 million of fundraising and some small provincial contribution if we didn't have the 8.5. It makes a big difference for us.
I hear that.
And plus, the governments, as you know, are very pleased to see that we have partners that are interested and supportive.
One last observation, if I may. My partner and I were walking through the park, and I observed the Conexus boat, forget what it's called, not ramp, but...
Boathouse.
Boathouse, okay. Conexus Art Center, observed the CNIB, the CBC, and my observation was Conexus headquarters fits in because it starts with a C. And I hope we can see our way to supporting
Thank
this.
you.
Thank
On
you,
that
Shirley.
note, thank you very
Thank you.
much. Hi.
Hi, Costa. I'm a little taller than most, I guess.
That's okay.
I just want to make a couple observations and some comments. Progress, I don't think, is ever easy. And so one of the things I observed tonight is that there's a lot of passion in the room around preserving heritage, preserving the arts, preserving the green space, and I applaud that. But I also recognize that with progress, there's luck, there's timing, there's courage, there's vision, and there needs to be collaboration. And I want to compliment both Eric and Dr. Timmins, President Timmins, around the creativity that the two organizations have brought to looking for a solution for a problem that's been outstanding for several years. A problem that obviously left some holes in the facility and the structure that previously existed, that unfortunately isn't addressable now, to your point, Vianne, but I do think that there's been a lot of thought, a lot of consideration, and a lot of creativity and innovation in the ideas that you've brought forward. And I'm really pleased to hear that there's still some work that needs to be done, that there's concern over the green space, that there is consideration for the exterior in terms of your design, Eric. And I think that both of your organizations, and in particular both of you, deserve some recognition and applause, and appreciation for addressing a very difficult situation in a manner that is trying to consider all aspects of the problem and the situation in a way that's going to make the most of what's possible. So congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any more comments or questions? You can go first, and then you can go second. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. I guess my question is just about the music studios as they are going to be demolished, and I believe I may be the only music teacher in the room here. There are quite a few of us that work there, and I'm very familiar with the college building as well. I just question that we'll all have room to share that space.
That's the plan, and Harvey is working hard to make sure that all of the needs are being met. It may not look the same, but he's committed very much. And that Harvey King is oversees the whole College Avenue campus program, and he's the one that will be critical to make sure. And he's been working with Nelson's team on program needs throughout the whole planning of this for over a year. So I can't guarantee it'll look the same, but he has all of your interests that he is promoting.
I believe in one of these slides there had been, maybe I'm mistaken now, but a diagram that there was possibly like studio space behind the conservatory. Is that, maybe I just totally misread that? Oh, it's this one here.
Okay.
In front of the parking lot, those rectangular white buildings.
Yeah, that's a long term, that's from the master plan. Those are buildings places we can build buildings, but we have no plans for that right now.
Okay.
What do you teach, by the way?
Oh, I'm one of the piano teachers, and so.
Good. Well, thank you for your comments and your questions. Go ahead.
Yes, hello. First of all, I'd just like to say, and I'm sure many other people would like to say, kudos to the university for recognizing the significance of this property and for the very significant contribution you're making to preserving it, and to Conexus also for stepping up and partnering on the project. But my comment actually is just about a very specific design detail that I'm not sure I've seen addressed or mentioned in the concept plans and reports I've seen so far. If it's possible to find the slide that shows the aerial view of the property, Nelson?
Sure.
Yeah, that one. If you notice, just between Old Campus Road and the college building there's kind of an upside-down triangle with a central axis through it. To the right. Just coming down, its apex is at the R.
Right there.
Yeah, and the top part of that, above Old Campus Road, is actually an historic feature of the campus. It's the remains of the pathway that the students used to use to access the lake from the college building. And I note in your plans you're talking about view planes to the lake and that sort of thing. And I understand correctly, that area between Old Campus Road and the college building is planned for a green space development of some sort? Is that correct?
What was your question again on that part? What?
If we could just get back to that slide. I was just asking if the development plans, no, one more, the aerial view?
The aerial view, go back.
Yeah, the area between the college building and Old Campus Road, where those pathways still exist, those are historic pathways, and
Right.
that part sort of preserves it going through the parking lot there, but
Right.
much of it's been cut off by roads and parking lots down to the lake. And my question was, is that space immediately south of the college building planned for green space development? Do I see that in your plan?
That's why I went to the other plan.
Is it planned for green space development?
I think you'll see it best in the air photo,
What are they?
or in there, yeah, in that yellow area there.
Is that that's just an open area there. Those are not buildings.
Yeah, and my comment is it just might be worth the designers considering somehow incorporating those historic pathways into that green space. I think it'd be a really great way to honor and commemorate all the faculty and students and visitors who walked down those pathways over the last century of use of that campus.
That's
Just
a
a
great
very small
suggestion.
detail to comment on.
But it's a great thing for us to keep in mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
I use that. I grew up on 22 block Lorne, so I know the spot you're talking about. So.
Great, yeah, it's an easily overlooked feature. I mean, it's not all about
Yeah.
grand edifices and sometimes
Sure.
very subtle historic resources that are important. So,
Thank you very much for that observation. Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
I guess I'll address this to President Timmons or to Eric as well. What's Plan B? My guess Plan B is that Conexus goes somewhere else and we wait another 25 years to do something and hope the place doesn't fall down.
Oh, I hope there's, like, Plan B is we don't get the federal money and we keep trying to fundraise, and maybe we can get at least Darke Hall revitalized with Conexus partnership, right? That would be a Plan B, and then I still work hard to try to get College Avenue done. So that would be my Plan B, you know. I hope this is the first time I kind of can see the light, that maybe we can get there, and it has been like pushing rope uphill to get this project where it is today. And I don't even have, you know, there are people on my campus who would say, give it away. Put everything on the main campus here. That's what I've heard from some of my own colleagues. I've heard from some people in the community, and it's very hard for me to imagine doing that. So I really believe we were entrusted with these buildings, and it's up to us, the university, to revitalize them and then maintain them. And I hope we can get there, right? I hope. And we'll keep trying.
Okay.
I would only add that,
Yes.
you know, our organization's been looking for a site to consolidate some of our professional staff for the better part of 2 years. We've looked at 17 sites. We have a very deep commitment to Regina. And when this came up, it's not just an office for us, but it's a way that we can reflect our commitment to community at the same time as solving a real business challenge that we have as an organization. So when this came up, you know, this is our plan A, B, and C, because it does, you know, for us become a reflection of what it means to be a cooperative and make a difference in the community and take the economic activity that comes from running a financial cooperative, a big one for sure, and make sure that it gets absolutely redirected back to a project in the community that our members would be very proud of. So we don't have a plan B other than this project.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll also mention that I think Eric is very brave. This is a complicated project. We have the city, Wascana Authority, the province, because we have to get everything approved. It would be easier to go to a commercial development somewhere else. But his willingness to hang in there with us, to know that he has lots of hoops to jump as we do to get this done, I have great admiration for him, because, you know, I'm not sure if I was Eric, I would look maybe for an easier place, but this is not easy to do. We're going to get pushback from the community, and I need advocates to stand shoulder to shoulder with me to say, if not this, then what? If we don't do this, then what? And if community doesn't want this, then they need to step up and give me the $60 million to renovate it, because if not, I have to close it. Probably in the next decade, we'd have to close it. So I know that there are many people who recognize there's a reality here that isn't ideal for everybody, but will make this happen. And so I'm going to ask you to stand shoulder to shoulder with me and recognize that for each person, this may not be the perfect solution, right? The perfect solution is we get it entirely funded by government. It's not going to happen. So we need to be creative and work together to get this done. And we can get this done. We can. I know we can.
Just one comment on that. For our organization, when we heard that the sites were considering being developed, we're interested as a citizen of the community as much as we are as a business. And for us, if it's going to be an organization that develops a piece of property in the Wascana Authority, it should be an 80-year-old member-owned organization that understands what the park means to the community. From our perspective, we thought we were the ideal person if it had to be a private partner.
Very good. On that note, we'd like to wrap things up. We have one more question, then we'll wrap things up. By the way, we have another public hearing next week, so make sure you tell your friends about that. Go ahead.
Actually, this gets to the next steps, if you want to call it that. We've heard a lot of discussion tonight about concerns around the architectural structure of these buildings and locations and stuff like that. Within the planning horizon you've got for the pre-design and design stuff, is there going to be an opportunity for the public to get engaged in actually reviewing what you're considering before we get to a press conference that says, here, this is what it is? Like, are there going to be steps within that to have a public, at least an iteration of what we would like the buildings to look like?
It's a great question. The Wascana Master Plan has got lots of public feedback. It's certainly our intention as a prospective developer in the park to make sure we're developing it consistent with those guidelines. The challenge for us though is we can't open up the decision on design to the community and ask people to vote. We would be here for a very long time. And so, I think there is a process. The Wascana Authority, and I see Bernadette's here, it's nice of you to come, does have the benefit of input from the university, from the City of Regina, from the government, has a very rigorous set of guidelines around development. And so it's our intent to make sure that we meet those, and those have been through a public process. So it's our hope that would kind of meet the desire of the community.
Not to want to disagree with what you just put forward, but a 4 or 5 hour open house could be what I'm thinking about, not a 2-day charrette with everybody in the room and drawing boxes on the floor type thing, or on buildings, but some sense of some massing diagrams, some ideas around what the facade is going to look like, maybe some of the kind of ergonomic aspects of how do people move around the property, maybe if you've gotten to the level of knowing how much of the parking lot, for instance, is going to be parking lot, and so therefore you're not going to have to build as large a building or as deep a building as you would for underground parking. I guess that's what I'm thinking about, rather than necessarily a full engagement of the public.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. Why wouldn't we do that as a member-owned company? We would foresee doing that with our own members anyway.
Okay.
And with 40,000 of them in the city, that would be most of you in the room, I'm hoping.
And at the co-op.
I'm opening an account, Eric.
And at Conexus,
I haven't done it yet, but I am.
Everybody gets a say in Conexus too, right? Well, thank you very much for expressing your opinions and your questions here tonight. We really do appreciate it. Do you have a question, sir? No? Ready to wrap things up then. Just want to let you know that we do encourage you to write to us. We do have the email address, so it's easy to get a hold of us. It's on the card here. And we have another public consultation next week, same time, same place, right here at the university. Thank you very much for coming tonight.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.